Hello. It's been a while, but I'm back, and I'm gonna do some streaming. My name is Aaron. Hello. Working on this game called Terrorarium. That one? Just plugging in my mouse. Sorry. Last time I streamed, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, was working on trying out the new Unity job system. I've since actually learned quite a bit about the job system, and oh shoot, I got my code on a USB stick that I gotta copy over as well to this machine. But I've got some cool stuff running really fast, so I'm gonna show you through it and then do it. I don't know, keep working on it. Hello. Who's in the chat? Decaf Smurf and Electrical Longboard, welcome. Let me put on some music, plug in my USB stick, and so on. Using Unity 2018.2 right now, but don't need it. Using 2018.1 on my other computer. Come on. How do I not have any USB ports left? So prepared. What's this one? It's the microphone. Probably want to keep the microphone. Alright, this thing. I can unplug this thing. Alright. Bear with me, I'm just gonna copy some files over. Come on, Windows. There we go. All right, here we go. It's opening now. I assume you can't hear my music, so I'm just dancing. There, now you can watch. Please snip this, Natalie. This is a great scene. Clip it, not snip it. I don't know how to do like a watch checking sort of pose. Trying to give you some good stuff for the Twitter. All right, here we go. We have a scene, and you walk around, and as you walk around, I create a flow field. This is not any of the files from that project. Hang on a second. Here we go. You can see some of that? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hit play and I will explain what's going on. So, wait for it. Yeah. The yellow lines, those are the raycast, those are squares that were dirty that I had to recheck. So I just did all of them at the beginning. You walk around, that's not actually part of the flow field, but this is. So this is my visualizer here. The clear ones, like the cells that aren't green or red or black, you have line of sight from those squares to the player. And so that you can see that white cube there. I haven't fixed that. I haven't implemented that yet, but that's supposed to block, so you can't walk there. Let me move my grid up a little bit so we can kind of see. Yeah, so the height of the grid, the Y position of the grid matters because that's where we start our raycasts from, and so the flow field won't let you walk in places that it didn't get a successful raycast. So I'm gonna do a couple things. Going to move it up a bit more so that everything is below it. I'm going to move it over more. And I'm just gonna make it bigger for fun. So I'll show you in the code, but I have a function that like marks different squares as dirty, and so all I'm doing is at the beginning of the game, I'm marking all of the squares as dirty. Cool. So that's fine. So here we are. You can see this code, yeah. So go down to here. So I think first off, my draw ray got the parameters wrong. Start, direction, color, duration. Yeah, okay. So I don't need a duration. Or if I do, I'll just do like that can work? Yeah, that'll work. So let's start with that, but the other thing we need to do is actually make it, sorry, this music is very distracting now. I thought that I would enjoy some music while I worked, but I can't talk to myself and listen to Andrew Jackson Jihad in my ears. So again, we hit play, does the raycast at the beginning, and everything that is on that ground layer gets counted as walkable. So a couple things we need to do, but the big one is obviously make it so that if it hits something that is supposed to block you from walking there, then don't let you walk there. So I'm gonna make this, I guess, well, this is the thing, is we haven't actually got a layer right now for like walls, but we'll get to that. Check one side, this, okay. So the other thing is raycast hit. We don't get access to all of raycast hit when we're in the in a job, like on another thread. So there's like only certain bits I can do with it. Like I don't know if I can do compare tag. Let's see. Yeah, so Collider, and I think even rigid body and transform I don't have access to. Let's try it. I might have to just do this in the main thread. So if you are new to the concept of flow field pathfinding, I can give a quick rundown, but the short version is we calculate for every single square on the map the distance, like the number of moves you would have to make to get from where you are to where you want to be. And that way, the cost of calculating a path is only dependent on the number of squares on the map, not the number of like units that are looking for a path. Okay, so I got a bunch of errors there, and I assume that I can't do that. Yeah, can't do that on that thread. Okay. Well, maybe I will do it on the other thread. Okay. Let's think. We'll start by renaming things as I go, always. So instead of get height and penalty for node, this will be check if any thing hit by raycast. And so then if nothing was hit, then maybe it's an array, so I can't remove it, can I? No. Add a queue or something instead. So here we have check if anything hit by raycast. So I'm gonna add nodes to check next. So do that. Right. Let me just check how I was doing this. Yeah, write only concurrent. So this means that multiple parallel executions can write to this same queue, and then on the main thread I loop that queue back out into whatchamacallit, just an array again. I got distracted by the Twitter. Anyway. Nodes check next. Yeah. Okay, so check if anything hit by raycast. So that's done. So then from here, penalties from raycasts. Yeah, no. Rename this too. So I'm using the job system. I'm not using ECS, but I'm using some of the types from Unity.components, like the native queue, I guess. I think native queue. Anyway, let me rename this. So anything hit by raycast job. And this is going to be called anything hit by raycast job handle. Cool. So now we go through nodes to check next, and we turn it into nodes to check. Sorry, nodes to check dot clear. Yeah, it's a pattern I'm using in a few places where I've kind of split things out into parallel, kind of collate the results, and then split them back out into parallel. So where are we here? Nodes to check clear. So now I have nodes to check as an array of squares that hit something with the array cast, and I will need to see what they hit. But maybe I should also populate my height map from there. I haven't decided if I'm using a height map. Let's see. This is not going to work, is it? Because raycast results. Shit. Raycast results. It's got a different length now than nodes to check next, so I need to do like raycast results queue as well. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. So do this now. Make sure that was set to concurrent as well. Yep. Oh, where's my back button? Yeah. Hello to Slow Cool and Commander Root and Decaf Smurf. I don't remember who was here earlier. Welcome. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about Unity job system or I mean, Burst Compiler. I'm kind of figuring out. I'm pretty good at this job system thing now. So I guess I gotta do this as well. Nodes to check next. Raycast results to check next. Oh, I hate it. I really don't like it. It's an array. Why can't I clear that array? Oh, because it's an array, not a list. This is weird. Maybe I should be using native slice. No, this just feels dumb. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to filter it out so that only the raycasts that didn't hit nothing are being processed on this main thread now. So raycast nodes to check next is a queue of nodes. Raycast results to check next. This just feels weird. There's got to be a better way, but I'm going to do it for now. Oh, great. Can't do comparison. Let's do something different. I have an array of nodes, and I have an array of results that has the same length. Nodes to check next instead could be an array of integers. We'll call this, yeah, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, that already exists, doesn't it? Let's give it a better name. Okay. So we'll call it raycast to keep, and it'll be a native array of integers. And then raycast to keep equals raycast to keep, and then we do that, and then so for each that's a queue, and then raycast results in an array. Okay, nodes to check the list. Do that. It's just a way of getting the XY from the I. That's not the thing that I really wanted to do though, which is raycast to keep. No. I will do it as a list, actually. I'm still gonna have, no, I'm not gonna have this problem anyway because I'm comparing on the node now. Native list of raycast hit. give it a size, capacity, and capacity is going to be no more than the length of or count of nodes raycast to keep. Okay. So this now, I'm going to do the debug.drawArray here. So yeah, so I can cheat because I know the start position and I know the, well, I can get the start position from just the hit position, and the I know it only went straight down. So the start would be that's the start. The color yellow again. Don't need a duration. Up the time again, and then while I'm at it, I'm going to draw the normal. I'm gonna hit play. I'm like 90% sure that there's at least one native array that I need to clean up, and I'm gonna get an error about it. Okay. Nodes to check. Dot clear. Prepare raycast command reads from nodes to check. It shouldn't. Yeah, well it does because it's read only, and right. This is what I actually changed for. So. Move this down. We'll rename it back. So those go there. So then nodes to check becomes nodes to raycast, and then nodes to check next becomes something like nodes to keep raycasting. I don't know. Maybe I don't need that because I have notes to, let me see, raycast to keep. Is this going to give me the same problem? This might give me the exact same problem, but we'll find out. Oh, hey, wow, I'm getting rated. Hello. Hello from Jonathan Blow's stream. Whoa. Hi, so I am doing flow field pathfinding in Unity using the job system, doing some stuff in parallel. This is, yeah. The thing about writing in parallel code is you get all these race conditions. Hi, wow, so many people, thank you. Let me fix this error and show you what I'm actually doing. Node to raycast.clear. Let's just kill that for a sec. I feel like at this point I should just switch to showing you the cool stuff from our game. Check out our website. Natalie, post a link to the website or the Instagram or something. No, still not working. Hang on. Native array, raycast to keep. What? Yeah, that's fine. I'll just not do that. Yeah, Natalie is going to drop a link to our Instagram and our Twitter and stuff in the chat, and you can see like the 3D art and stuff from our game. I'm just working on pathfinding. Oh, come on. Array has been deallocated. Which one? Which one? Line 279. I was saying earlier, oh, well, that's not helpful, that I'm using the new Unity job system, but I'm not actually using the entity component system. So I'm just trying to debug my code and talk at the same time. So I'm starting jobs and I'm handling the dependencies myself. Line 710. Why do I have 710 lines in this monolithic beast of a C# file? Anyway, notice check.dispose. Yeah, okay. Is this because I am disposing them twice? Yep. So anyway, yeah, Unity job system, burst compiler, the job dependencies I'm handling myself, and so first thing we do is this, apparently. Line 526 has not been disposed. Which one's not being disposed? Anyway, first thing we do is just check to see like what the ground's made of, if we can walk there. After we've figured out the, call it the penalties, you know, like walkable and unwalkable. After that, so here, it's like moderately commented. Do the penalties with the raycast, that's what I'm working on now. After we have the penalties, we figure out, you know, where the player is. We do a line of sight pass. We don't bother calculating the actual cost to move for the. This guy needs to chill. It's true, man. I'm like, anyway. So yeah, we only calculate the cost for squares that don't have line of sight to the destination, because if you have line of sight, then we just use the vector from here to there instead of flow fielding it, because you get a better quality path that way. After we do the line of sight, well, first we do a while loop until we're out of squares to do line of sight for. Then we do the costs, the Iconol equation or whatever it's called. So I've got that running in parallel. which is pretty sweet, using this native queue. So the jobs run in parallel, and they in queue their neighbors, and they say, hey, check this one next, and then we come back to the main thread and just loop through to make sure there's no duplicates, and then we split it back out into parallel. And we do that until the grid has been filled, and then we do the directions. So we go through each cell, we figure out which neighbor has the lowest cost, and we point there. And that's flow field pathfinding. So it didn't work, and it didn't work because why? It's also quite possible that it did work, and I just wasn't looking at the gizmos. So let's try that. Hey, it did work. I just wasn't looking at the gizmos. Okay. So you can see actually everything has line of sight, and that's why they all are just pointing directly to the player. If here, let me uncomment some stuff. The penalties bit. This, of course, is going to get split up into multiple files later. So I just add some random squares instead, and I guess, well, let's see what that does. Yeah, sure. No. I don't think that actually did what I needed. It did not. Out of range. Okay. I mean, that's the thing about live coding. Oh yeah, this is also the thing about when my custom inspector freezes Unity. Ah! Yeah, for anybody who's interested in the multi-threading stuff, check out the job system. It is really under-documented right now, but in theory, it's out of preview, and the job system is ready for production. Burst compiler is not, and the entity component system is not production ready yet either. But doing stuff in parallel. I should open the profiler and show you that it's like on all 8 cores or whatever. So sorry, I populated the grid with random values, and then it didn't work. Maybe. Let's see what this does. My phone's blowing up. Everybody on Slack talking about a raid. Yeah. Natalie, you do owe me a beer. Okay. No, still out of range. What's out of range though? Unity, they've done a really good job giving like useful error messages when you try to do stuff that like you shouldn't be doing at a pretty low level. It's pretty sandboxed, and they do, I guess, good like static analysis on your code. So populate grid with random values is where I am getting my out of range exception. So that shouldn't be a thing. This was meant to be easy. Oh yeah, I should show you guys this this container I made, because you don't get 2-dimensional arrays, so I made one. I also made a point, but so it's like it's a 1-dimensional array, and I just added indexers to get it, like pretend it's a 2-dimensional array. Pretty proud of that. And for the most part, it works. Let's see. Come on, Unity. Yeah, okay. There we go. This is some pathfinding. How about that? That's better. Pretend that the memory leaks aren't there. So anyway, the squares, the black squares, are just randomly generated now to test my algorithm. It has nothing to do with the actual terrain. The clear ones there is that you have line of sight, and then everything else is, you know, flow field. Profiler. So this is running at so the game itself, you know, running at whatever 80 something frames per second, and it's because my jobs are allowed to take more than one frame if necessary. It's running in a coroutine. But we can see if we go to the timeline and we go to the Unity job system, it's actually not like, it's not even taking up a whole frame. Yeah. If I crank up the resolution a bit, so let's go to like 4 times as many nodes. Oh, I should also, shouldn't have done that while it was playing. I should have done that in now-ish, whatever this is called, edit time. Make another preset there. So I'm gonna turn off the gizmos because that'll probably kill it, but gizmos aside, performance is great. Yeah, the garbage collection, I'm pretty sure is all the string logging. Oh yeah. Wait. Oh. Get up here. Sorry. So that's the coroutine, which is just waiting. Log string to console. Yeah. And supposedly, it's even faster when you do it in a standalone build. So this is 192 times 168 math. Somebody math for me. One nine two times 168 equals, so 32,000 squares, which actually it shouldn't be chugging that much. It was doing better before. Okay, so I have this max iterations thing because there's a while loop, and I don't trust myself to write while loops, to be honest. So I put a max there, and I just increase it if I ever see the warning. Okay. So that's something we can now start to look at here. I love when just like your logging is actually the thing that slows it down. Also, yeah, I need to, you know, dispose of these. On 526, that's probably just going to be something dumb. Break has to keep. Dispose them down here. And that might be the same one. Remind me not to open my custom inspector with 32,000 squares on the grid. No, I still have a leak. See, that's less useful. Native list. Yeah, there it is. Okay. See if I can get rid of all of those errors. So I can't tell in here. Oh wow, I still have so many people watching. Thank you all. This is awesome. I'm just gonna keep working. All right. So what's going on now? Because it is chugging. One thing that I was trying before, instead of doing it in a coroutine, just starting it and then like starting it if it's done, basically. Let me see if I can find where I had that. Jobs running, yeah. So instead of doing it here, I would do like, I assume I don't have an update. And this is, you only need the handle of your last job. Or sorry, that should be finished. So this is instead of doing the coroutine. I don't know if it'll be better performance or not. I haven't tried it in a while. We do have a soft ban on while loops. It's in my code style manual for the company. If you want to do while loops, that's, you know, that's a risk you're taking. I'm not. I don't support it. I don't support those choices. This is, it's just a pretty looking graph. So what this means though is like some frames it's going to do lots and some frames it's going to do none. Yeah. Ooh, that's a lot of garbage. Where'd that garbage coming from? Oh, that's not me. That's... Could probably actually reuse some of those native containers or just, you know, change where I'm allocating stuff. If I turn on the gizmos, you can see that it worked. It's just a little bit yeah, the other thing that's nice is if I turn off burst compiler, I can run the jobs and just get a little bit more debugging info out of them. You can also, if you change your jobs from, instead of do schedule, you can just do like execute, and then you can run them on the main thread and see what's going on there. Okay, so we're running, we're deprofiling. It's just really pretty. Look at that graph. Okay, so there's a slow frame. I might increase the batch size, see what that does. Here, I should just like... So that's 64. Try 128, see what happens. One frame per second? Excellent. Oh boy, what is going on? I'm just going to give it a sec to settle. No. I think first off, I think the coroutine was better. Anyway, that was just kind of me showing you guys what it's meant to do. Now my computer is just like freezing. I don't know what the stream's doing, but Unity is chugging. Probably shouldn't have changed my code while it was still playing. Yeah, because Unity don't like that either. We're in the realm of seconds per frame now, as opposed to frames per second. All right, so it's doing the reload. And task manager. System out of memory. Nice. Anyway, so I'm gonna go back to what I was doing, and you guys can watch. So start here, mark all the nodes as dirty, instead of actually filling them with randomness. The mark node as dirty just adds it to a queue, and then once we get into here, we do a raycast on every dirty node, which at the beginning of the game is every node. And then, like I was saying earlier, they have the ability to do raycasts in parallel, but the raycast hit results, you can't get any like managed objects, so you can't get the collider, you can't get the transform, you can't get the game object out of it. You can just get like the point and the normal and whatever. So I have to come back into the main thread here. Am I back? Is Unity back? Yeah. So let's reload. Yeah, I actually really, I didn't think I would like live coding or like streaming at all. I don't, I don't watch programmers streaming. I certainly can't while I'm working, but it's nice to just kind of talk through what I'm doing. Every once in a while, someone will be watching and they'll be like, "Hey, you made a typo, and save me an hour." So this is not happening. All right, what's going on? Raycast to keep. So where am I using that? This is a list. I don't need that. I can just use this. I think. Let's try it. Come on, Unity. No, still no. I should probably just take my time and read it properly. Let's check. Okay. So let me look at this properly. Anything hit by raycast job? Yeah, that's real. I guess. Yeah, you know what? I know I need to come back to the main thread, so I may as well just complete the job now. So I can go back to the size of the count of the queue. Okay, so if anything is hit by the raycast, it gets added to raycast to keep. We run that job. When we complete that job, raycast results to process next is just me taking raycasts to keep, dequeuing it, and nodes to raycast.add. Yeah. So then we have an array of nodes and an array of raycast results. So from there, we go back to where we were. This, let's see if this works. There's also one thing I like to do is just hit pause before I hit play, and then only stuff that happens in start and awake really goes. Or nothing, depending on what Unity feels like doing. There we go. So we're definitely doing a lot of raycasts. All right. And everything has line of sight. Let's move the grid down a bit so that we can cheat and have some stuff that won't necessarily have line of sight. And also I gotta figure out where that memory leak is again. Great, okay. So if I bring it up, you can see now, there we go. We have, finally, we have nodes that are walkable, but don't have line of sight. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So, what's the deal here, though? I'm going to change the resolution back to something a bit more manageable. Manageable for now. It's gonna work. It's gonna work on a very fine grid later. Okay. That's not gonna help me. I probably just need to start looking more carefully. Nodes to raycast. Dirty nodes goes to nodes to raycast. Dirty nodes dot clear. Raycast commands. So, you know. I'm just making a list of like all of the native collections or containers that I'm allocating. I'm gonna make sure I get them back. I was saying earlier, I switched from Mac to Windows in the past week or two, and I've like learnt the hotkeys now, but when I go back to my laptop, then I'm backwards learnt the hotkeys. It's really awful, to be honest. I find myself just like right-click copy, right-click paste. Not literally for copy paste. I know Control C and Control V, but for a lot of other stuff, I got slower on both Mac and on Windows since switching, which is rather annoying. Okay. Line of sight blocked? Is that the one that I'm not, oh no, it's disposed of down there. May as well move it here for consistency. So is it the grid that I've not disposed of? No. What is it? It's a native collection. It's a native list. Nodes to raycast. Raycast results to process next. Nodes to check. Oh, raycast results to process next. Am I not disposing of that? I am not disposing of that. I found it. I found it. Found the memory leak. All right. Hello. Zorky, your name seems familiar. I don't know if you've watched my stream before. For those of you who have not watched my stream before, which is all of you probably, I normally do this on Mondays, but this week I didn't feel like it, and next week is a public holiday here in Canada. But other than that, normally I stream on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern, and I'm making a video game in Unity with a bunch of other talented people who stream on different days of the week. Okay, great. This is good. Everything is good so far. So this guy is meant to block that raycast. So this is where I have to do the thing on the main thread where I was going to here. I didn't notice this though. I didn't notice this happening. Yeah, maybe I'll do next Thursday instead. So what I'm expecting is for the basically for every one of these squares that isn't black, I need to do another, not another raycast, but I need to check on the main thread what the raycast actually hit. So let me, for now, yeah. For now, I'm just going to keep all of the nodes dirty, which would be mark node as dirty. That will happen twice on the first frame. Let's not do that. Okay, so this is going to slow it right down because it's going to update every square, every frame. It's going to do a raycast for it. It's not crazy, but it's not as good. And so where are those debug draw rays though? They're not happening. How come? Oh, no, that's not it. So maybe that part's not working. Huh. So my console should be full with numbers. That's a lot of numbers. I mean, that's not a lot of numbers. It's a big number. It is bigger than I expected. Let me do some math. So what that number in the console is, in theory, the number of black squares. Let me see this. 48 times 42 equals 2016. Maybe I got it backwards. No. That seems reasonable. Yeah, so I mean, Zorky, I looked at ECS, and I think we are going to be porting some of our stuff to ECS. I set up a lot of it to be kind of ECS style or ECS ready with like one manager and it, processes an array of information or an array of structs. There's some interesting stuff on the Intel website about array of structs versus struct of arrays, but that's another thing. Anyway, the point is ECS is cool, but I don't trust it yet for something to base my game on. Whereas this job system stuff seems to be like fully in and supported on 2018.1 at least. Raycast to keep dot count. Okay, index equals raycast. Most raycast dot contains. Raycast results process. What's going on here? From what I've read, the hybrid ECS is not something that you want to like base your project on. I think the hybrid ECS is designed like as a way to ease people from mono behaviors to ECS, but I don't see them supporting hybrid ECS long term. That's my prediction / understanding. Okay, 325. So those are right. So am I just not getting this? Draw array, point, normal, point plus. Just make these lines really long so that I can hopefully see them. Excuse me, Unity. Where are my rays? Oh, weird. What is going on? Something dumb here? This is weird. This should be working. No. Hey, that's better. I mean, it's not better, but at least it tells me something. Oh, yeah, that's absolutely it. Wow. Oh, that was so dumb. Yeah, okay. This should work now. There we go. Look at all those lines. All right. So the yellow ones are the raycasts, the blue ones are the normals. This is great. So, what I want to do now is just check if the thing that it hit is tagged with dirt. We'll do that for now. There's got to be a way to do compare tag on an array. Whatever. Should I continue to do this in the main thread, or should I do this in a job? Yeah, I'll just do it here for now. All right. This should work now in that. Oh yeah, I also want to not make all the nodes dirty. Sorry, I was saying this should work now in that this big rectangle should block movement, and we will hopefully see the flow field calculated accordingly. Great. See, it blocks line of sight and movement. The actual player movement, like I said, is not quite in sync with the flow field yet, because these white triangles represent slopes that are too steep to walk up or down. We're working on that separately. Adrian, who you might see in chat, is working on the gardener movement. Okay, gardener, sorry. The main character of our game is an alien grandmother gardener. Just jump over here for a sec. Lovely. I love it. Okay, so now figuring out what's walkable and what's not based on either the height and comparing the height to adjacent nodes, or just that normal. The terrain is using a shader, I believe, just to show what is and isn't walkable. Yeah, I didn't write that, but that's pretty cool. Max walk slope. That's 35. Fred wrote that. Fred, maybe not in chat. Okay. Let's go back down to a smaller node size now that I know it's working. And just for fun, we'll say that, yeah, we'll put it down there. So like anything above that grid is not walkable. I might need to reverse it later. Like I might make it so that anything, you know, above the grid is walkable and anything below it is not. Oh yeah. Is that the gizmos though? How's the frame rate? Nice. Come on. Let me drag it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Beauty. And turn off those debugs. I don't need them. Actually, this code here is probably the slowest stuff, and it's only necessary for the gizmos. Maybe. Do that. I can confirm this, but I'm like 90% sure. Yeah. So now we can do a real speed comparison with the gizmos on and off. You guys are talking about networking in the chat. So, I mean, I can speak my opinion at least. We used SmartFox for one of our games, Rival Books of Aster. That was nice because we needed an authoritative server, and it worked out pretty well. At a previous job, we used Photon and oh shoot, what was the third one? I can't remember. Anyway, using Photon and like running basically the game on one machine and a bunch of clients that are all connected to it. So that was nice being able to just like write your game logic in a Unity scene. Okay, so with the gizmos on and visible, we're at like 300 something milliseconds. Why does it say one frame though? That's not good. I want it to that should be, that should not be one frame. It's also possible that just my logging is inaccurate, but that's not meant to be one frame, obviously. Frame count. Frame count equals time.frame count. No, I don't like that. I don't like that it's slowing down my stuff. Code routine, do the jobs. It's hard to tell. Anyway, unpause. So 50 something milliseconds, that's with the gizmos enabled but not visible. And then if I disable them, then I'm hopefully even faster because I'm not doing the code that was copying from the native to the managed. So that's unfortunately still a little bit slower than I'd like it to be. Log string to console though. Wait for job group ID, yeah. Burst, clean up. So if I can get rid of the dot complete calls, then it might speed it up a little bit, even more. Yeah, it's not going to work, is it? Can I do this? So that might get us to another frame, like in a good way though. It's a line of sight, parallel job handle. Do I have to complete it? Those to check. Next, I do. Wonder if I want to put that at somehow at like the beginning of the while loop. Let's see what this does. Because it's all of these wait for job group that I would love to actually just take as many frames as necessary instead of all happening in this same frame. That's better. I mean, depending on how you think about better. No, without the gizmos. Oh wait, that number is just going up, isn't it? It's not better. I lied. It's absolutely not better. Something's not finishing. So that is the function formerly known as start jobs, just inlining it inside this coroutine. And then at the end, wait until and then I'm going to replace finish jobs with actually what finish jobs does. That does need to be indented one more. Then finish jobs goes inside that coroutine as well. I thought that would put my cursor down here. Okay, I think I might finish off soon. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope it's been fun. I don't know. It's just work. It's just programming. Oh yeah, that's not right. It just never made it to the end. Yield, return. I don't see anything wrong. I guess I'll comment them all out for now. Yeah, this isn't my like primary machine. This is like a shared computer that we have for streaming, so I don't know what will happen if I auto indent the code. Probably fine. It's also just a habit. Okay, so this is, now everything is attempting to process in a single frame. So my frame rate's going to be bad, but at least it will work in theory. Yeah, and come on. I don't know. Good a time as any to give up. CPU is going up. A lot of memory used. I think I'm gonna force quit it again. Let's leave this one in because we knew this one worked. It's crazy. I don't know why it wasn't working. Alright, Unity's back. I also have a bad habit of just like alt-tabbing away. As soon as I do anything that might take a long time, I alt-tab out of it, which, I don't know, probably has some negative effects on whether or not that thing that I tried to do finishes. Okay, here we go. So, this is everything happening in one frame, and obviously it's a little bit slower than I'd like it to be. With the gizmos on, yeah, nice and slow. Gizmos off, not focused. Hang on. Custom yield instruction, yeah. Wait for job group ID. So it's waiting for all of the jobs at once. I guess that makes sense, but can I split it up though? Because I would like this to be split over multiple frames. Otherwise, I have to add different sorts of optimization. Oh yeah, let's also, I don't know, play with the batch size until something else feels right. Two frames. Good. The theory... Oh yeah, look at that. It absolutely did what I wanted, where it's splitting the work into across multiple frames. It does a bunch of stuff, and then it waits, and then does a bunch of stuff. So, yield. So anything hit by raycast handle. So if that's done, we can do it in the same frame. Now, I'm not positive how coroutines work, to be completely honest. I don't know if that means it's always split, like if that always waits at least one frame or not. So I'm gonna Google it. Each frame after monoBehavior.update and before monoBehavior.lateUpdate until it returns true. Right. So maybe I don't want that anymore. Or maybe I don't want that there, because that stuff, that's not the part that I need to split to a second frame. That shouldn't be a problem there. Let's go to the next one. Line of sight. Line of sight should be quick. It's just the integration that takes a while. So so that would be the first one, this one. So in a while loop, what's going to happen? Let's find out. How are you using VS Code with Unity? There's just a VS Code. So there's two. There's C# for Visual Studio and Debugger for Unity. If you get C# for Visual Studio, you also have to separately go to download the .NET SDK. Also, heads up, get the blue one, not the green one, which is to say, if you go to download Visual Studio Code, there's like, I don't know, the dev branch or whatever called Insiders. And Insiders is currently having issues with the .NET, or specifically with OmniSharp. So if your VS Code has a green icon instead of a blue one, you're going to have some trouble with autocomplete in C#. Pro tip. That being said, the Insiders build of VS Code lets you do a single user install, which is nice because then you don't have to, like, I don't know, have admin access. Okay, 86 frames. So that's 86 frames, I assume, because I put it in the while loop and it takes like 86 iterations. So I could do something like a max iterations per frame as well. Oh, interesting. Sometimes it only takes one frame. Oh, I bet I know why. I bet I'm standing somewhere where I'm not supposed to be. Yeah, okay, so if I'm standing inside there, it only takes one frame. That makes sense. That's weird though, that it didn't do that. Job, temp, allocate, yeah, okay. So I need to change them from temp to temp job, maybe? But if it's 86 frames, that's because it's doing, 4.8x CLI. I couldn't get it working, so I just switched back. Yeah. I don't know a good way to do this. I guess I could wait only on the last one. I assume this won't work because note to check next is coming from cost parallel job handle here. It's probably not going to work. Even without that, I assume it's not going to work. I guess if I can figure out a way to skip coming back to the main thread to prevent duplicate results, and then schedule more parallel jobs like from within another job, but I don't know how to do that right now, and so I have this kind of choke point. Yeah, that didn't work. So I can do that. That's not going to do anything though, because it will be completed. Again, like for the directions job, I mean, that's fine. That's not a really kind of expensive one. It's, well, no. I don't know how to do this where I kind of decide if I come back and check the next frame. The website of VS Code, I guess, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't remember it offhand. I'm gonna Google it and then paste it into the chat or something for you. Code.visualstudio.com. How's that? Oh boy. All right. Yeah. So two things. One, I gotta go and log my hours for the past few weeks because I'm way behind on time tracking. Also, I got a bunch of Slack messages I need to reply to, and also I'm just kind of tired. So I'm gonna stop streaming soon. But before I do, I would love to find a nice way to make this split over multiple frames, but like not too many. Maybe I don't know. What's a good way to limit how long a coroutine spends on a frame? Let's see. Coroutine can be positive yield. I don't know. Maybe I can use this real-time synth startup thing. So we've got the start time of the job, yeah. And then let's do like say 10 milliseconds per frame. So then I just need to pick some good places to like stop it at, right? So anywhere that I've got a dot complete. So frame start time. So now at each of these points, is this gonna work? This might work. Speaking of time tracking. So if, yeah, frame start time greater than max time per frame, and then we set new frame start time here. This might work. Let's try it. So anywhere I'm calling .complete. Is a place where I could let the job finish on its own. I mean, technically, I could do it not even just where I have to call complete, but I could do it anywhere, anywhere where I'm like scheduling or where I'm coming back to the main thread after doing a job. But let's do it just for now. Complete. Okay. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, so I'm not calling the complete here, but this one requires it to be started before I can do that. That's fine, I think. I mean, I should have probably tested one of these before I did all of them. That's fine. So that's going to be a maximum, in theory, of 10 milliseconds per frame. Or, you know, close to it. Basically, if it realizes it's been going for more than 10 milliseconds, it hits that yield and then goes to the next one. Let's go to 1, see what happens. Yeah, it's definitely using that code. And it still finishes. And that part didn't work. Have I frozen it? This is gonna be my third Control-Alt-Delete of the stream. So anyway, like I said, it's 5 o'clock here. It's 5 o'clock in a lot of places, as they say. So I think I'm gonna finish off soon. Just don't like not getting things working, but that's the job. That's programming. Ta-da! All right, now let's see though. Grid. Let's see what happens if I do like 1. If the maximum time per frame is a whole second, then how long does it take? It just doesn't go. That's fine. That's fine. Come on, Unity. Come on, Unity. Hi, Unity. Thank you for joining us, Unity. Maybe I should write some tests next time. .4 frames per second. 2 and a bit seconds per frame. I guess I could have seen that coming, considering what I was testing. Check this last bit. Yeah. This one, I guess I just always want. All right, last try. Set this back to something reasonable, like 16 milliseconds. Come on, come on. Incremental compiler, burst compiler, Unity. I don't know who to be mad at right now. There we go. Yeah, this feels right. Can look in my profiler to see how it's split up. So I think though the gizmos aren't working. Oh, the gizmos work. They're just very, very slow because that's how gizmos do. I should probably put some limits on that. So anyway, a few thousand nodes, and I'm happy with that performance. I mean, I don't even need to update this every time. Like, I only need to do it if there's parts of it I only need to do if the terrain changes, and then the most of it I only need to do if the player moves. And so I think there's room for optimization still from here, but I'm pretty happy with this. like this. So we can look at my like spikes now. You can see which jobs are doing. But it's pretty flat, and that's what I wanted. Is I wanted a nice flat profile as opposed to one with really like we saw before, kind of striated or whatever you want to call it, where it was high and low, rapidly switching between high and low. This is kind of evenly medium. Plus, it is staying pretty well within that number that I wrote there, that max time per frame. So if I, for example, took that to 10, yes, it does exactly what I need it to. Look at that, guys. People watching. I changed my max time per frame, and my profiler updated exactly. Um, 100 milliseconds. Look at that. Oh, it works. It totally works. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, it's like right on the money too. Look at that. 50. So yeah, this, when you set it here, you can see that there are some jobs that, or some bits that are going to take more and some that are going to take less. And so I can see on these slow ones which job I'm waiting for, and on the fast ones which job I'm waiting for. So that's integrate costs in parallel, and then the next one there. 50. And so that's, I assume, one of the, it's just a different, anyway. This is great. I'm so glad I added that as like the last thing I did on my stream. That's really cool that it works. Max time per frame, 50 milliseconds. And it just does. It does like right there. Yeah. If I go down to 5 milliseconds, oh boy. Boy, that feels good. That feels great. Knowing that I can just like tune it however I need to. Yeah, the gizmos slow it right down. No, they don't actually when they're not visible. That's good. When the gizmos are visible, chug, chug, chug. Yeah. Sweet. 1. I guess it has to be non-zero. Also doesn't like, yeah. So now it's all garbage collector. And the garbage collector, I'm hoping, oh wait, vsync? Oh. I was gonna say, I was hoping it was just the text, like the debug.logging. So yeah, I mean, we can keep it at 10 milliseconds per frame, and still have plenty of milliseconds left for everything else. Gizmos. No gizmos. Cool. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other stuff to do, like you know, just not running parts of this code every frame, like you know, the line of sight is a really nice heuristic for if the player has moved, but the player has moved to a cell that had line of sight from a previous cell. You don't necessarily have to update the whole grid. I haven't written that yet, but this is great. I'm really happy. 30 nodes. Yeah. And I should be able to like mark nodes as dirty from the main thread, and then when it gets back to going through that queue, it'll pull them out of the queue and whatchamacallit, and then update them. This I need to deal with still, the actual like compare tag part of it, but it is working. You may as well throw that in. That I think is only going to happen though on like the first frame, because that's only for when nodes are dirtied and we're calculating the like the penalty of the terrain. So we'll see if we even get to see those raycasts or debug.drawRays. Ooh, that was cool. It was all fuzzy. That's probably something that we want to do at edit time, not at runtime. Anyway, this makes me really happy. Ooh, don't go negative. Also don't go to 0. See if it'll settle. 210. So I mean that's kind of cool, is that like there's just an upper limit that it only needs a certain amount. No garbage, no garbage. Excellent. Sweet. I'm going to save this. I'm going to, bring it back to the project. Thank you all for watching.